switch gears. Baltimore Ravens made a bunch of picks last weekend, and one of those players was selected in the third round, a defensive tackle out of UConn named Travis Jones. And we want to get to know Travis Jones a little bit better, so it so happens that someone that we got to know for years around here was his coach at UConn. It's a pleasure for us to welcome back to the program former Maryland coach Randy Edsall, who's with us now here on GCR. Coach, it's Glenn and Paul. It's good to chat with you again. Thank you for taking a couple of minutes for us this morning.
No problem. Glad to be with you guys.
It's great to chat.
Good to talk about Travis.
Well, I want to get to know. Give me your first interaction, your first memory, the first time you realized, hey, this kid might be something special.
Well, I'll tell you, he was coming out of high school. He was a big kid. He was 6'4" and 350-some pounds, and you just watched his athleticism. He came to our camp, and you watched his athleticism, and you watched him move. And, good kid, soft-spoken, and very polite. He said, this kid's got a real opportunity to be a good player. He was a worker. He liked to lift weights then and all those things. So we just felt that, we could help him, and just to see all the information. He developed, the whole time it was there. You could just see that he was going to be a really good player because he really liked to work.
Was there an on-the-field moment? Was there a game that stood out to you where you saw it clicking, where you realized this guy's going to end up in the NFL at some point?
You just basically, I don't know if it was one game, but you just saw the development, and you saw how he ended up developing each year as he was there. I think that was the biggest thing that, for me, is just watching the development. Every year he just got better. And he was a worker, and he's strong, powerful, and did all those things that he needed to do in order to be as good as he became.
He is former Maryland coach Randy Edsall. He's with us on GCR telling us about new Raven Travis Jones. Coach, as far as being a defensive tackle, is he a true kind of run stuffer, the way that we remember like the Tony Siragusa's of the world to be? Is he someone that we could expect could be more involved in the backfield and making plays against quarterbacks?
Well, I think that's one thing where he's maybe wasn't as highly regarded in maybe some camps as he was maybe other ones. He's got tremendous strength and got tremendous leverage. And I was down at the Senior Bowl for 2 days, and I went down there, and he just dominated those guys down there. He's got to get a push in the run game, but he's got to surprise people in terms of the pressure he can get in rushing the passer on the passing down as well.
Wow.
And I think the one thing is that going into the system there that the Ravens have and the organization under Steve Bisciotti, and then with John and Eric, I think he's going to be well served because he's going to have some veterans there, I believe, that are going to be able to help him and show him, that first year or so. And, he'll learn from that because Travis is one of those guys that's a sponge. He's got to take it all in. He's got to look for, those, that kind of veteran mentorship, that I think he'll get there in Baltimore. And but I think he's got the ability to be able to play all three downs, and he's just a big, strong, powerful person.
You had four and a half sacks a year ago, and that's certainly appealing. And whether that can translate, we'll find out. But boy, that's exciting to think about, Coach. Handling adversity. Obviously, you guys weren't able to play in 2020, and I know things have been tough the last couple of years. How did he handle all that adversity? And do you think that going through that type of stuff maybe has him a bit more pro-ready because you can't throw something at him that's maybe trickier than what he's already been through?
Well, I think Travis has a chip on his shoulder. I really do. I know when he went to the Senior Bowl, he wanted to be able to show people, I'm not from a Power 5 school, but I can play, and I can play this game pretty well. And so I think that's the thing, that he's always got to have in his mind, that he's always got to have a chip on his shoulder, and he knows he's got something to prove, and he's going to go out there each and every day and try to prove it. And when he went against Clemson this past year and was down to Senior Bowl, he more than held his own,
right?
Against those type of people. So, but he's one of those guys that, like I said, he doesn't say a whole lot, and but like I said, nicest kid, and come up and introduce himself to you and everything like that, and just wants to work, and he's got to put in the time and do everything he can to be the best he can be, and there's not going to be any issues on or off the field, with him. And like I said, I think he'll fit very well into the culture there that the Ravens have.
It's hard for me to fathom a 6'4" monster defensive lineman who ended up with nearly 10 sacks in his career being someone that was ever overlooked, right? It's just hard for me to fathom what somebody, what other coaches didn't see when they were scouting a kid like that coming out of high school. Was he a late bloomer at all, Coach? Was that part of it?
No, I mean, he came from Wilberforce High School in New Haven, and that's not a powerhouse, and my son Corey was recruiting him, and we just stayed on him, and he wasn't heavily recruited, and he wasn't a guy that, he's not one of those internet guys and everything else, and a self-promoter and all that stuff, and he went from 355 pounds down to 325 pounds. So that tells you something about the kid right there, in terms of
work ethic,
trying to put his, be in the best shape he can be, his work ethic, all those things. And he was a captain, for us. And, he's one of those guys that's going to do it more by example. I mean, he'll speak up if he has to, but, he's a driven person. He knows what he wants to accomplish. And being around the type of people within that Ravens organization is only going to benefit him even more so, and it's going to help him continue to develop because he hasn't reached his full potential yet. That's the good thing. He's not maxed out. John's going to get him, and his defensive coaches are going to get him, and everything else. And you're going to see the guy, continually improve each and every year.
You mentioned the term chip on his shoulder. There were people that thought he was a first-round type of talent. He ends up falling to round 3. Do you feel like that's the type of thing that will also motivate him? That there were a lot of teams that had a lot of opportunities to take him and didn't.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, with that, I think that will motivate him. But as I've always tried to tell guys that I've coached, don't listen to all the pre-draft stuff and all those things, because you never know. And having coached in the NFL myself and sitting in those draft rooms and sitting in the draft meetings and all those sort of things, you don't know how things are going to fall and all that. Just be thankful for the opportunity. But knowing Travis the way I know him, yes, he'll use that as fuel to say, hey, I'm going to show people and just. But that's his nature. He wants to be the best he can be, and he's got to work and do whatever he has to do to be the best he can be.
I like the sounds of that. Coach Randy Edsall with us here on Glenn Clark Radio. Coach, what's going on with you? You have plans? You already have something in line? Is the NFL back in the picture? What's going on in your world?
My world? I'm retired. I'm enjoying retirement. I'm done coaching.
Is that a certainty for you? Have you decided you're done?
I'm done. I'm done. I made that decision. I'm living down in Atlantic Beach, Florida, and live there full time. I play golf 6 days a week, and I play 7, but my course is closed on Mondays, so I can't play on Mondays. And I play 27 on Wednesdays because Mike Malarkey and Tom Coughlin, we play 9 holes together in the afternoon. So there's a bunch of guys that I know that are down that live in the neighborhood where I'm living in down there, and I'm 100 yards from the beach, and hey, I had a great run and a great time coaching and everything else, but I'm very content and very happy, with what I'm doing, and plus with the transfer portal and the name, image, and likeness. I don't even want to be a part of that stuff anymore. I was just at a function, the Peach Bowl Challenge golf tournament over the last couple of days, and it was funny because one of the guys from the Peach Bowl said to me, he said, Randy, look at all you guys that are retired. Steve Spurrier, Frank Beamer, Houston Nutt, a bunch of guys were there. And then you had the current coaches that were there. And he says, you guys are all smiling, but these current guys, they got frowns on their face. They're all upset. I'm playing golf. I'm playing with Pat Narduzzi. He's on the phone the whole 18 holes because he's got his wide receiver going into the portal, and he's trying to get all that stuff figured out. I mean, my phone doesn't ring anymore. I don't have phone calls at midnight saying you got this issue, that issue. So I'm very happy and content playing golf and spending a lot of time with my wife.
Is there anybody that could call you that would make you change? Is there any one person you're like, man, I hope he doesn't call because that might make me think about it again?
No.
Okay.
It wouldn't matter who would call because excuse me, but yeah, when we finished up our round, I was talking to Steve Spurrier. He said, so Randy, he said, where's your next coaching gig going to be? I said, Steve, there is no more coaching gigs. He said, really? I said, yep. I said, I am done. So, I'm not. Nobody could call me. It wouldn't get me, back. Like I said, I've done it. Did it for over 42 years, and enjoyed it, the relationships. But now I want to be able to do the things that I wanted to do maybe before, and now I'm getting the opportunity. I'm going to Pebble Beach to play next week. So,
man, that doesn't sound so bad, Coach. That doesn't sound like a bad way to spend some time. That sounds like a decent. If I tell you what, if I could sign myself up for that life, it doesn't sound like one that I would want to turn down. Do you stay in touch with any of the? Do you stay in touch? Like, obviously Stefan's, I think, the richest man on the face of the planet. You stay in touch with any of those guys?
Some, you text guys back and forth and things, and they got their stuff. But you're happy for a guy like him and Yannick, and that's the thing. I've had the ability to work with a lot of good coaches, a lot of guys on my staff, and then also a lot of good players. And you know what? That's what it's all about to me. It was all about working with people and giving them opportunities that maybe they didn't think they could get, or helping them get opportunities that people helped me get. So, that's the thing that I take from the coaching is just that it was a way for me to give back, to help people accomplish goals that they wanted to accomplish, not just the guys that go to the NFL, but, the guys who maybe didn't play as much, who got degrees but are very successful in life. And, that's what it's all about. And it's sad to see college football really getting away from those things nowadays and what's happening. But no, I got no regrets, and very happy with what I was able to accomplish in coaching for those 42 years. And now, like I said, that's behind me, and I'm already on to the next chapter and enjoyed it very much.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing Travis Jones over the years, and maybe an appearance from you at some point in Baltimore to watch your guy, Randy Edsall. Congratulations.
Well, I'm gonna be up. I'm gonna come up this fall because I got a good friend of mine from up in Pennsylvania where I grew up who's got tickets right behind the Ravens bench right there,
very
like
cool.
In the first or second row. So I already got it arranged where I'm gonna come up and visit him, and he's gonna take me down to go to the game. So
that's awesome.
I'm definitely gonna get up to see him play.
That'll be really neat, Coach. Congratulations on a great run in your career, and looking forward to seeing what your guy Travis Jones is going to bring to Baltimore over the years. Thank you for taking a couple of minutes for us this morning. We really appreciate it.
Really appreciate it, Glenn. Thanks.
Coach Randy Edsall checking in with us here on GCR.